Remarkable Business Solutions. We're doing an amazing segment today. We have with us Miss Lois Wagner of Lois Wagner Coaching. Yeah, she is here from all the way from South Africa. I'm super excited to have her here on this talk today. We're going to be talking about her business, talking about hurdles she's had to overcome, and of course, finding out what she does in her business. So, Lois, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, there's such a lot to tell. I'm 66, so I've got a huge story to tell. So basically what I do today is I help people move from victim to survivor to thriver and beyond to freedom after facing a business challenge or a life challenge or adversity. And I do that by helping people develop their resilience, secret, a growth mindset, and most importantly, to find forgiveness for themselves and for other people. So that is my core concentration, but I do other things as well. With the 66 years of life history, I've done it all, I've seen it all, I've been there, and I've got stories.
Awesome, awesome. I love you said moving from victim to survivor to thriver and then to freedom. That's amazing. When you said it, I was thinking like, where am I on this journey? And I like it. I want to be all the way to the freedom. So I love that you said that. That was beautiful. So I did a little Facebook stalking. Everybody knows that's how I am. And I saw that your company had a title that was Walking Without Skin. What is Walking Without Skin?
Well, walking without skin, I'd like to know what people believe the words mean, walking without skin. Walking without skin, it's about, the skin protects us. It looks after us. It keeps us together. It makes us how we present ourselves to the world. So it's really about our vulnerability. And 26 years ago, I came up with the name Walking Without Skin because I wanted to write a book. And 26 years later, I wrote the book called Walking Without Skin. And that's my book cover there.
Awesome.
So it's my story. Walking Without Skin is my story. How I got from victim to survivor to thriver and beyond to freedom. And
Awesome.
it's a very vulnerable story because it talks about all my adversities, predominantly a big adversity. I was attacked and raped and left for dead. And so it's really, it's a part memoir and part self-help guide. And it takes you through that journey, going through those phases. So Walking Without Skin, my Facebook page, my web page, Walking Without Skin.
Awesome. And we're going to come back to that because I heard we already got one of your little nuggets of hurdles. We're going to come right back to that in a moment. But what I like to ask everyone who comes on to this segment is, what is your why? Why did you become an entrepreneur? Because you could have gone through your journey, right, and just kept all the inspiration and the motivation and the stories of success to yourself. But instead you chose to share it with other people through your coaching and things like that. So why did you go into entrepreneurship?
Well, I suppose it was in me somewhere from childhood that I wanted to be independent. I'm a very independent person. I fly solo a lot. I'm a great adventurer and a traveler. And I travel to countries that most people avoid. And I usually travel solo. So I go to countries like Iraq and Iran and Pakistan and Haiti. And so I'm a risk taker and I live outside of my comfort zone. So I've started businesses and I've changed careers so many times in my life. So it's basically in my basic personality. But what I do now, I've only been doing for 2 years. And it was almost forced upon me. My story is very convoluted. I've been around. I started in corporate, worked in corporate for many years, left corporate, went into consulting, left consulting, went back into corporate, went into training, started my own business, started a printing business, what I was doing in a printing business. I have no idea. So it was really just moving around, trying different things, finding different things. And I was working in the Middle East. And when I turned 64, they wouldn't renew my work visa. They don't like people over 60. And so I came back to South Africa and I had to do something. So I started this particular business, Walking Without Skin, which is concentrating on what I've just already mentioned. So before I was very much in corporate coaching and corporate consulting and training. I'm now into personal development and transformation. So,
Awesome. Look, you've been
so
everywhere. Okay. I like it. I like it.
I think what I like to talk about is, when I was a little girl, everyone used to play housey housey and dolly dolly, and I never wanted to play those games. I wanted to play teacher and
Okay.
librarian, and nobody wanted to play with me because my games were boring. And so it was quite difficult for me as a child. uh, and then as I sort of grew older, people were saying to me, you stop acting, you're always acting and you talk too much, stop talking so much. And if you look at what I do for a living today, I act and I talk and I teach.
See, it
and
was
so
already within you. That's awesome.
and so I think that's something that people should always look out for, is to just go back to your childhood. What made you happy as a child? Because in there lies your raw talent and your raw calling.
Like that's a tip, you guys catch that. That was a nugget. I like that because when I think about what I do, I was always trying to help people when I was younger. So now I'm helping people, and it makes sense. Everything goes full circle. I love it. So now we're going to get into the hurdles. You gave us a little snippet of that, but like you said, you've been around for a while. Look, you're very seasoned, we'll say. And so, what are some of the hurdles you've gone through in your journey as an entrepreneur, or things that have impacted your life that also kind of spilled over into your business? Because I know your personal story kind of goes into what you do in your business. So if you could give us just a little something to tell us, what hurdle you went through and kind of how you got out, got through that, I should say.
Well, there's so many stories that I can share with you. There's little stories and there's big stories. I'll quickly just share two little stories. And twice in my corporate career, I left my job because I didn't like my new boss that came in. And I chose not to work for people that I didn't respect. And if I look back now, my career would have taken such a different journey had I just stuck it out. And so I don't know if I did the right or the wrong thing. There's no regrets, but you got to be careful. You make a decision, and that decision was right for me at that time. But, I would have, in both instances, I would have got that person's job had I hung around. The one guy, it was only 6 months and I would have got his job. And so you look back and you think, well, that was a decision. So you need to really examine your decisions as you go through it. Analyze the pros and the cons, the opportunities, the threats of those things. And I didn't. I fly by the seat of my pants and I just said, I don't want to work with this person. And I left, and just took me on completely different journeys. The big one was after I was attacked and raped. It happened in the days where the word rape was not mentioned in polite circles. It just didn't happen to good, nice, decent people. And so the word was never heard. And so when it happened to me, I was angry. I was so angry that this should happen to me. It was at a time in South Africa where we were coming out of apartheid, and they were allowing people to make representation for a new constitution. Well, I became an activist. I wanted to change the world. The man who raped me was out on bail. And it was just wrong, wrong, wrong that he was out there. So I wanted to change the law. I wanted to do everything. So I immediately, or almost immediately, I became an activist, and I went very public, which, as I said, people didn't even talk about it. So I was out there very public. And it got me out from the victim mode. When you're in the victim mode, it's the hatred and the, the regret and the sadness and all of those negative emotions. When you go into the survivor mode, it's where you're struggling to come to terms with it, and you're trying to make meaning out of it, and you're wanting to get back to some kind of a meaningful life. And some people sit in victim mode for ages and forever. But for me, because I wanted to change the world, I got into survivor mode very, very quickly. Led marches through the streets and lobbied and got petitions going. So I was out there making a noise. And so I didn't stay in victim very long. And then when you move from victim to thrive, from survivor to thriver, that's when you start changing your emphasis and you start focusing on a new outcome, on a better outcome, and you start driving for a greater future. That's when you start achieving success and you become a thriver. So and then the freedom comes with the forgiveness. And it took me 14 years to find that. And, you can't forgive when you're in victim mode. There's no ways you can forgive because you're still full of hatred and anger and whatever the emotion is. So it's only when you're coming out of survivor into thriver that you can really consider what forgiveness is. And I went back, I went to the prison and I forgave the rapist. And it
Wow.
literally, for people say, how can you forgive him? It's not condoning what he did. It's not saying what he did was okay. But it's when you bonded to somebody, you tied to him the emotions, the feelings, the angers. And when you forgive, all you're doing is you are breaking that bond. And forgiveness, that's a big forgiveness from a big story. But I forgave a business partner who betrayed me and put me into debt. You can forgive yourself for negative emotions. You can forgive yourself for making mistakes. So it's such a
Yes.
powerful thing. And so I concentrate a lot on forgiveness.
That's amazing. Wow. As you were talking, like I wasn't going to interrupt because I was just thinking, I was like, wow, how strong you must have been because, you know, people still don't talk about rape now. It's still like, oh, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to speak about it. And women feel, dirty or what have you. But you, like you said, you didn't stay in that place for too long and you were out here speaking and invoking change. So I applaud you on that because how much strength you must have had to muster to get to that point to talk about it. Wow. That's amazing. I definitely applaud you for that. I'm sure that there are going to be plenty of people who see this who definitely can relate to your story, who are probably still in victim mode right now and want to be at the place where they can thrive and not just be surviving and also then go into to forgive. I was sitting here like, you went where and did what? But wow. And then you even tied it back to just forgiving the small things. That's amazing because I was thinking to myself, like, what can I give myself? I call it grace, but what can I forgive myself for? 2020 was a year of a lot of things, right? But, when I think back, I said, wow, I could forgive myself for a lot of things that day that I didn't get up when I know I should have been working. I need to forgive myself for that and move on. It doesn't have to be the big things. I loved everything you said. I thank you for sharing that story because it takes a lot to be vulnerable, even though it's happened many years ago. I'm sure it's still something that, it takes strength again to talk about and share. So I definitely thank you for that. So with that being said, I know that, we as entrepreneurs, we say, we have a target audience, people who we want to help. Who are the people that you want to serve and you want to help through your business?
Well, I have different target audiences for different products or services. The one obviously is to help people who've been through some kind of a serious trauma, such as what I've been through, but it could be any trauma. It could be an accident, a burglary, a divorce, somewhere where you're sitting in victim mode. And I want to help people move out of victim mode. You know, I sat there not too long, but then I sat in survivor mode for too long. And to find that freedom, it took, as I say, it took me 14 years. I wanted people to get there in less than 14 years. There's no one size fits all, and everybody's journey is different, but 14 years is too long to wait. So I really want to help people move away from victim and survivor and get to thriver and freedom. So that's my one area. But then I also help people who've gone through change in business. They've lost a job, they've been overlooked for a promotion. So it's also business. You know, I've got 40 something years of business experience. And so I was a business executive coach before I became a personal transformational coach. So I've got all that experience, and yeah, so I help business people as well. But my prime focus is on trauma or serious challenges or adversities. And then my latest 2021 project, I'm saying, why do we have to help people overcome trauma? Let's stop the trauma in the first place.
Okay.
So I have this wonderful aspiration to eradicate sexual and gender-based violence. And so I've got a product called Brave, and I want to teach boys and men, as well as girls and women, to be brave. So my Brave is B is boundaries, R is respect, A is asking agreement, V is values and vulnerability, and E is equality, empathy, and empowerment. And I've got a program to teach people how to stop harassment, how to fight masculine toxicity, and let's make the world a better place. So it's a big dream. And if we can change one by one, we can maybe see a difference in the future.
Awesome. Look, I like it. I told you I went Facebook stalked you. So I was hoping you were gonna mention brave because I was like, okay, that's a lovely nugget. I know I want to be brave and I know everyone else doesn't. Like you said, everybody has its own journey, but you want to help people get to the end result a little quicker. So I love that. Everything you said just is touching my heart. I think you're just such a powerful person. And like I said, you just evoke so much strength. And I love everything you're saying. It's beautiful. So since you mentioned you have the coaching going on, I do want to give you an opportunity to talk about any of your products and services that you may not have mentioned, because I already know, look, you're a coach, you're a speaker, you're an author. So do tell us, what are some of the products and services that you offer that you may not have mentioned as of yet?
Well, I actually say smile with Lois. So this smile, the S is speaking and storytelling. So I am a keynote speaker and I'm an author. So I've shown you my book, Walking Without Skin. As I say, it's a part memoir and part self-help guide. So it's really good. And in the front of the book is a little quiz to test where you are on victim, thriver, survivor, to see where you are. So there's a little quiz. So that's the speaking and storytelling side. M is mentoring, with my 40 something years of business experience and 60 odd years of life experience. I've got a lot of wisdom, and so I can share that wisdom where necessary. The I is hopefully inspiring. The L is learning facilitation. I've been in training a lot of my career. I've done corporate training, the soft skills, leadership management, and all the communication type of skills. I'm a certified conversational intelligence coach. So that really concentrates on how we communicate. And the E is I empower using coaching.
Okay.
So basically, I can support you, but I like to concentrate on those areas, surviving, coming out of trauma or adversities and challenges and eradicating gender-based violence.
Okay, well, you got your hand full. That's a lot. But that's cool. Look, you're strong enough. You can do it all. I love it. There's a lot of new entrepreneurs because my business focuses on small business, helping those people that are even just thinking about having a business. They might not even have structured it yet. So if you had to give one tip to a new entrepreneur, what would that tip be?
Wow, you got to find your passion and follow your passion. And that's why I say, if you go back to your childhood, sometimes the passion is revealed from your childhood activities. But it's important that you do the work, do the homework. You know, my first career was in marketing. I loved it. I was very successful. But it wasn't my passion. And as a business coach, I was really good as a business coach. But again, it wasn't my passion. And only now, and I'm not making as much money as I did when I was, but I'm much happier in myself because I'm doing what I want to do. I wanted to just show you, I've got a free ebook for people. It's called Ignite Your Mojo, and that's just a mind map that I've done, and you can work through it. So it's about how to be happy, what can you do when you're down, when you're having a bad experience, when life is getting the better of you. And so it's important that we keep our jolly, keep our mojo. Okay, ignite your mojo, be happy and follow your passion. So
Awesome. That's a good tip. That'll take you far. Do what you're passionate about. So I think that is something that'll definitely help someone because a lot of people are thinking, what can I make money on? What's an easy thing that I can do to make money? And it's like, it doesn't have to be about the money. It definitely should be the passion first, because if you're happy, everything else falls into place. So before we go, I definitely want to ask, how can people get in touch with you? Where can they find Miss Lois Wagner?
Very easy, Walking Without Skin. If you Google Walking Without Skin, you'll find my book, you'll find my webpage, you'll find my Facebook page. So I think walkingwithoutskin.com is the easiest place to remember and to find me.
All right, walkingwithoutskin.com or Google Walking Without Skin. And of course, if you're watching this, we will definitely put all of her links down below. Be sure to check her out, join her Facebook pages, groups, all the things, and let her know that you saw her here, because we want to definitely tell her that this was an amazing experience. And definitely in the comment section, tell us what was your takeaway from today. You know, are you brave? You know, do you want to be an entrepreneur who smiles? She talked about all the things she does. Or do you want to go from being a victim to a survivor to a thriver and then on to freedom? We want to know, what did you get out of this? I want to definitely thank you, Ms. Wagner, for being up here. Look, she's all the way in South Africa. I said good morning to her. She said good afternoon. So thank you so much for taking the time to come up here and just share with us your amazing story. We definitely appreciate that. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for showing us your strength, your courage, and being an activist and going out here and fighting not only for your rights, but our rights as well. So I definitely thank you for coming. And remember, guys, check out all her links down below, because we want to definitely support her. And if you need any of her services, definitely go to walkingwithoutskin.com and check her out. Again, thank you guys. And remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you. And I want to say, fly free.
I love it. I love it.